In this video, we'll be making this very simple bubu dress tutorial. If you're interested, keep on watching and let's get started. So I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into four. So I folded into two and then I folded it over. So I have two folded edge and two open edge. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is to take my neckline measurement. So I'll be taking the measurement on the folded end of this fabric. Okay. So for the neck width, I'll be making use of 3 inches. Okay. And for the neck depth, which is the back neck depth, I'll be using 1.5 inches. So I'm going to indicate that and I'll connect the two dots together. After doing that, guys, next thing I'm going to do is to place half of my shoulder measurement, which is 7.5 inches. I've gone ahead to do that and I'm going to determine the length of my sleeve. So my fabric folded into four, the wideness is 24 inches, so that is enough for the sleeves. So on this other end, I'm going to go down by 9 inches. So if you're on the bigger side, you can go down by 10 inches or 10.5 inches. On that 9 inches mark, I'm going to go inward like this by 1 inch just to cover out my arm. Okay. So the next thing I'll do is to place my tape on the shoulder line and I'll measure the distance from my waist to my hip point, which is 22 inches. I'll indicate that and I'll rule a straight line across that point. So what I'll do next is to place my hip circumference divided by 4. Okay, and I'll go ahead and add 5 inches to that measurement. Okay, this is a bubu dress, so it is not fitted, so I'll be adding 5 inches including my stitching allowance. So I'll connect from this armhole line to meet that point. So it depends on how big you want your bubu dress to be, but 5 inches is enough. I'll connect like this to meet that point. So guys, after doing that, I'm just going to connect straight down from that hip point. Okay, because we'll be using the same measurement for the base of the dress. I'll connect it down to the base of the dress. So the length of my dress is going to be 40 inches. Okay, so after doing that, guys, I'll go down by 1 inch for my shoulder slants and I'll connect into the neckline area just like you see me doing. So guys, we are done with this pattern. I'm going to go ahead and cut, so pay close attention so you know where to cut. So this neckline that we just cut out is for the back. Okay, we are going to work on the front neckline. After cutting, I'm going to remove my back piece and then we are going to work on the front. So guys, for the front, I'll go ahead and fold my fabric the same way that I folded before. I'll fold it into two. Okay, and we are going to modify the front neckline. So remember, we already took 1.5 inch from the neckline. I'll place it like this and I'll go down by 10 inches. This is how deep I want the front neckline to be. I'll indicate that with a dot. After doing that, I'll go in like this by 1 inch and then I'll connect the dots just like this, and then I will use my ruler to connect from the shoulder line to meet this 1 inch mark just like you see me doing. After doing that, I'll go ahead and trim off the neckline like this. So I'll go ahead and open it up for you guys to see. So this is what the front neckline looks like. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in my back piece and I'm going to place the front and the back right sides facing each other. After doing that, guys, I'll go ahead and sew the both shoulders. I'll sew the shoulders together. Okay, after sewing the shoulders, I'll go ahead and iron so that everything stays flat. Okay, so guys, I've gone ahead to do that. I've sewn the shoulders and I went ahead to iron so that it stays flat. The next thing I did was to go ahead and cut out this chiffon fabric. I'm using a chiffon fabric, okay, which is folded into two. The fabric is 4 inches long, folded into two, it is 2 inches. Okay, that is how wide I want the neckline to be. So you can make yours 3 inches, 4 inches, it depends on how wide you want it to be. So in order to know the amount of fabric you'll be needing for the neckline, what you are going to do is to measure around the neckline area. Okay, so I'm going to place my tape like this and I'll measure all the way around. So you'll be using this measurement to cut out the fabric that you'll be using for the neckline. So mine is 32 inches, and what I have here is more than 32 inches. So by the time I'm done sewing, I'll go ahead and cut off the excess. So what I'll do is to place the fabric, I'll fold the fabric into two like this, and I'm going to notch the middle. Okay, I'll notch the middle, and then I'm going to notch the center back of my neckline. Okay, so since I already ironed my fabric, I know where my center back is. I'll go ahead and either notch or use your chalk to create a mark there, so you know where the center back is. After notching, I'm going to go ahead and place the notched area of this collar. I'll place it on the notched area of my center back, and then I'll pin all the way around. Okay, so go ahead and pin all the way around. After pinning, I'll go ahead and sew all the way around this collar. Okay, so go ahead and sew. After sewing, I'll cut off this excess fabric that I have here. So sew and iron. Okay, so guys, I've gone ahead to sew and I've ironed everything in place. I also went ahead to cut out the excess fabric, okay, that I have on the collar, guys, and this is what I have. So the next thing I'll do is to go ahead and cut out another black piece of fabric that I'll be using for the front, for the design of the front. Okay, so guys, this fabric is about 10.5 inches long and the wideness is about 11.5 inches. So it depends on how big you want this design to be. Okay, so I went ahead to fold half an inch all the way around and I ironed it in place. So in order to get that neat finishing, go ahead and hem half an inch around it. Okay, I'll open up the front of my dress like this, and then I'm going to figure out where I want to place this design. You can place it at the center, you can place it at the side, but the one on the thumbnail was placed on the center, so I'm going to go ahead and arrange it. So go ahead and fold in half an inch and iron it. Make sure everything stays in place and then pin all the way around. So before pinning on this end, I'm going to go ahead and fold it in, and I like it, so I'm going to trim the excess off and I'm going to fold in half an inch and iron. After doing that, I'll pin this design all the way around, and then I'll head over to my sewing machine and I'm going to stitch. I'll stitch this design down. So I've gone ahead to sew it in place, guys, and this is what I have. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to turn my fabric to the wrong side. I'll make sure the right side is facing the right sides. I'll go ahead and hem the sleeves. I'll sew the side using 1 inch, and then I'm going to end the base of this dress. And yeah, that brings us to the end of this tutorial. I hope it was helpful.